Start on time, not early. Are you enjoying it over there? We'll start be a little early, but okay. The set starts for Eikev, Tishmun. So it says the mitzvah is Hadosh Ba'Keva. That's what Rashi says. Now, what would you mean? What kind of mitzvahs are Hadosh Ba'Keva? So, Parshas, you would say, we're talking about a mitzvah kala, or at least that you think it is, and you want to do a chamura, and it's in the way, and I want to get rid of it, so I don't want to do it, so I don't do it. That you can't say that pshat, because right now, because of the mitzvah, they maviran al mitzvahs, because of those two inyanim, and there's a little bit of a difference, I'll tell you in a minute, between them, is that there is no other mitzvah but this mitzvah at this moment. And then I want to taina, and then this is I hold that there's no shaila, you get the schar of the chamura. If let's say is over here is a mitzvah kala and I am forced to do it, and over here is a mitzvah chamura that I would love to do. So the Maisa is I'm going to do this mitzvah and I'm going to get schar for that mitzvah. And the reason for it is because the Gemara Kedushin says that someone who wants to do as machshava to do a davar toiv, a mitzvah, and then he gets full schar for the mitzvah. So what bigger oinus is that the Torah tells you you're not allowed to do it. So obviously that's the biggest sayus I have. If it is, it's surely going to give me the schar of the big one. So what Yitzhak do I have to go for the chamura? If I'm going to get the schar chamura when I do a kala. So you got to say it's talking about mitzvahs that the certain mitzvahs that by nature people don't want to be Isaac in. It can't be that's important. I can't really think of some, but I think the easiest one is Kriya Shema B'Zmana. A lot of the guys, what's wrong with Kriya Shema B'Zmana? It's not a big deal. So what? And the Chayret, we all know it's a big deal. So what's a diamond to me like? Everyone here, can't say everyone, okay, but you ask a kid, I ask him sometimes, I have these classes come, and I ask him, if you found a penny on the floor, would you pick it up? No. A nickel? No. A dime? No. Quarter, they have the thing, a $50, I don't even know what it is. And the dollar, oh, yeah, not yet. And in Emerson, I never asked him this, I just thought of it. That why, maybe that penny that's on the floor is an Indian head that's worth who knows what, $50,000, $100,000. Why don't you pick it up and take a look at least? Why don't you give a bottle right away? It's a penny. A penny is not choshev. And the same thing, the mitzvah is not choshev. Why is it not choshev? Because I'm too lazy to do it. There's no other reason why it's not choshev. I have no idea what the chshivas is. And why you're lazy to do it. What, are you really lazy to pick up a penny? I mean, realistically, you're really lazy to pick up a nickel. Just bend down and you pick it up. Let's see, what are you lazy about? Right? You've done down more than that for whatever you're doing. But it's not even had no shabbos to at all. We don't have the whole concept of put the mitzvah that's a big problem that we have, that we learned that certain things are not important. Why? Because they have no value in itself, but the fact that I can attach it and make it valuable with other things and so on to make something ganz, whatever it is there, that we don't even think about. And that's the chasar. But anyway, that's the mitzvah, I think, of what says Eikev. And the real reason why these mitzvahs are so important is because it shows that you're doing it because God was mitzavit. Normally, you would think, the melech was mitzavit. What difference to make what you do? So still, what it depends what he was mitzavit for. So you think about it. We all know a lav is a bigger aveira than doing an essay. If you don't do an essay, so you can do tshuva miyad, and you're forgiven immediately. Love requires Yom Kippurim. It's not the same thing. It's a lot more love over an essay. And yet, if you think about it, an essay is a bigger avera. What do you mean bigger avera? Just so me it's not. Very simple. A love is pshat. I don't want you to do it. Okay, so you have a Yitzhak. I conquer my Yitzhak. It's wonderful. I'll get schar for it. An essay is the mention this. Can you do me a favor? Will you get me a cup of coffee? This is the Melech talking. And Melech said, I don't go get a cup of coffee. On the way to cut the cup of coffee, I meet my friend, and we start schmoozing. Right? And I forget all about the cup of coffee for the Melech. Right? What chutzpah do you have in that? So if you don't do an essay, that's a pity chutzpah. Why aren't you getting up? I'm too tired. No? It sounds good, but if you're machshir like that, I'm the one that commanded it, then you jump out of bed. I want you to say Krishma now. I don't want it in an hour from now. I don't want it in 2 hours from now, and I don't want you to go to sleep. I want you to get a Krishma now. And we're saying, God, I'm really tired, forget about it now. If anything, I'll do it for you later, but not now. Right? And that's how do you do that to the Melech, to the Ben Shalom. That's why it's a mitzvah dosh ba'keva, and for that there's big unshim for it, and on the other hand, big schar for it. Because you're doing it because God commanded, for no other reason, not because it's choshev, not because you think it's going to make the world go what. You don't know anything about it, except that the Rebbein Shalom mitzvah. And that was the biggest thing. You see a little bit the chesed of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to Klal Yisrael. It says what's going to happen. I'm going to chase away the nations a little bit at a time. So it won't happen to get them all at one time. Until because the Chayes Hasod will come. So Rashi so fast. Like, what do you mean the Chayes Hasod are going to come? Then she'll make them not come. So no, what's your problem? When we're doing mitzvahs, we're good people. The Chayes are going to be afraid of us. They're not even going to come. Right? So he says, because the Mention knows we're not going to do good. So we're going to reach a point where we're chaytim. And therefore the animals will come. So what's the Mention do a chesed for us? That he doesn't let them come. He knows we're going to do Avelis. He knows we're going to be chaytim. And because of that, if he would empty out the area, it'll be empty, so the animals will come. So therefore he doesn't empty it out. He doesn't let you do. He lets it be little. That at least you'll have a yishuv, and the yishuv, even though you chaytim, still the animals won't come. That's the big, but tremendous chesed about Kodesh Baruch Hu, and he wants to do for us. Oh, I said I'd tell you the difference between what do you call it? In Ma'avir mitzvahs and the Isri mitzvah. And Ma'avir mitzvahs is simply you set up the Seder plate, according to the Torah anyway. So you have first you have kalpas and salt water over here on the bottom. Next you'll have more into charasis and stuff like that. The reason for it is because I can't go to, if I put the salt water after that, I'm going over the mitzvah of more and the charasis. I didn't wash yet. That's not an excuse. The mitzvah is to do this and this and that. So if I don't get to it, so it's okay. So it's a ma'avir on our mitzvah. When you put in your tefillin in your tefillin bag, right? So you always have the show yad to the left. Why do you have it? I don't know about lefties, but normally to the left. Why do you do that? It should be a siman, a ma'avir on our mitzvah. It shouldn't grab hold of the other one by mistake. And it's a chet, a ma'avir on our mitzvahs. That's one thing. And then what's Isik mitzvah? That's even if you're Isik the Hersha mitzvah. In other words, you're building a sukkah. You're not sitting in the sukkah. You're building the sukkah. Building the sukkah is only a Hersha mitzvah. I can't sit in the sukkah unless I have a sukkah. So I got to build one. That's Isik the mitzvah, mitzvah. That's the point of this. These are all things that are not actually the actual mitzvah. So the chalukim and when will happen, what happened, that's not for now. But anyway. Okay. The concept of kol mitzvah. So Rashi says, what's it then? That the person should do a mitzvah, the whole mitzvah, kol mitzvah, he has to have kavanah. Why? Because by Moshe Rabbeinu, it says Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who took out the Atzvus Yosef from Mitzrayim. And it says afterward that that the Bnei Yisrael took him out of Mitzrayim, not Moshe. Moshe the only one who took him out of Mitzrayim. So why not giving credit to Moshe? Because Moshe didn't make it, right? He wasn't the one that buried him, so therefore he doesn't get the schar or even the mention of the fact that he did the mitzvah. We just said before, a guy has kavanah to do a mitzvah, and he's us, so the din is that he gets full schar. So what do you mean? There was no bigger oinus than dying, right? So if he didn't want to die, Reisha made him die, right? So the reason I didn't finish the mitzvah is because I died. So what kind of shot is that the Raya that Rashi is bringing? It doesn't make any sense. So I think it's judged this way. Depends how you do mitzvah. Moshe Rabbeinu also didn't take out the Atzmas Yosef. Alas Moshe is taking him out. He's taking him out because the Shvatim swore to Yosef that they're going to take him out when they leave. And nobody else was doing it because they were Yosef. They going and borrowing the clothes and everything. So he could do that too. But instead, he went and did the Atzmas Yosef. So therefore, he's invited him. So why did I do it? I didn't do it because I'm doing it. I did it because I'm part of Klal Yisrael. And if no one else is doing it, I'm going to do it. So Moshe Rabbeinu, so if he finished the job, he got full credit as his mitzvah. But since he didn't do it as his mitzvah, he did it only as a mitzvah of Klal Yisrael, and he didn't finish, then Klal Yisrael gets the credit because the other people finished it. That's it. So therefore, now we have wherever you go to yeshiva, you go wherever you down in the shul, there are plenty of things to be done. So you can do it. Well, somebody's got to do it. Okay, someone's got to do it. Let's say paper's on the floor. You want to clean up just before Shabbos or something, or every morning even. It does make a difference, right? I want to clean up the place. So if I do it, okay, I happen to be here once, I did it, but the festive time, I really don't care, right? So you get the schar for the one time that you did it and stuff like that, and that's it, and we don't give you even full credit for it because the place is still dirty, and then didn't clean it up. But if you went and made it your mitzvah, that means I'm going to make it, I'm going to take care of it, I'm going to do this, even though it's a mitzvah kolis, that one you'll get full schar for. The whole time. That's what they call our mitzvah means over there. So you'll take the full, you'll do it as a full mitzvah of yours, then it'll come out to be that way. Anyway, he talks about the mon. Says the Bensham took you through the desert and he wanted to punish you, meaning test you, or make you, in other words, punishes a noischa, may aggravate you, maybe a better touch. And I'm not to test you. If you regard my mitzvahs, and I punished you and I made you hungry. That you never heard about, your fathers never heard about. That a person doesn't live on bread alone. Now, first of all, what does the basic mean? It seems here that the mon saved us from being hungry, right? So it's a good thing to have the mon, right? And why did he give us mon instead of letting half loaves of bread fall down in the heavens? We're more used to bread, right? So that was a special delivery. You find that every morning on the floor, the guy dropped it off, the truck dropped it off, I was leaving it alone. And so you'll eat it and think, so why give me money? Why give me something I don't even know what it is? That's to tell you that has nothing to do with bread, things. It's you got to eat because you're human and you have to have a certain amount of food, and we'll talk about that in a minute too. And therefore, it doesn't make a difference. It's whatever I want to give you, I'll make you a miracle out of nowhere, and so it's going to be. And that's the Tayyilay Lechem Levadik, Yalkom Hash, what Yotzripi Hashem, that's the Eikev. There is, then it says, Ragel Chaloi Batzeka, Sim Loscha Balei Bolsum Alecha, your clothes never spoiled. And Ragel Chaloi Batzeka, and your feet never became soft because you kept walking, you never got tired. And this is the difference between these things and food. Food, you get hungry. You walk, you don't say, I walk a block or 2 blocks or 5 blocks. I walk as long as I can keep walking. I'll keep walking. I'm not tired, so I keep walking. So if the benching doesn't make me tired, so I can keep walking. So about the food, same thing. In a second. What about the clothes? Just so you understand the clothes. So when you were born, when a baby was born in the Midbar, they put him on a onesie. You know what that is, right? And as every day you took a look at the onesie, perfectly clean. No dirt in it, never the dirt. It's washed, it's pressed, it's on it, it's on the kid. Got all this happened while on the kid, right? Happened the second day, third day. He's now 6 months old, and we still never changed his onesie, right? But now he's a twosie, right? So what happened? The onesie became a twosie, right? Just kept stretching. And then all of a sudden, he's gonna be a kid, and he's out of diapers, he's into pull-ups, whatever they call it. So he needs a two-piece thing. The onesie became a two-piece. And whatever it is, but every day, since it's one day, another day, you never know the difference. You're with the guy the whole time in yeshiva. You know how much he's growing or not. You don't even recognize it. Goes away for a few weeks in the summer, and he comes back. Wow, you got tall, right? What's the wonder all of a sudden? Because right, a day to day, you don't notice the difference because you don't notice the difference. You don't ask for a new suit because I don't need a new suit. It's always the one I've been wearing is fine. So don't keep going. So he's now 38 years old, and it's still fine. And it's the newest style and everything else, and pressed and cleaned every single day. But can't get a better deal than that. Okay. Why is food different? Food really is not different. I want you to understand that. Food is not different. In reality, if they wouldn't have asked for food, they would not have needed food. What do you mean you don't need food? You don't need food. Just like I make you one, I can make you don't need food. Not a problem. You don't need food. And it would have been for 40 years like that. And that's why it says they asked for food in Tillim. It says they asked for food. It wasn't proper. You shouldn't have asked for food. On the other hand, the Gemara says, Lechem shalu kahayim, and basar lo shalu kahayim. Bread was a good request, but they were permitted. But meat, you weren't permitted. So what are you going to krieg on Tillim? Doesn't make sense. You can't krieg on Tillim. So I think I mentioned this once before. The guy, normally you eat breakfast, right? Until 1 o'clock, I don't expect to eat lunch. So I ate enough for breakfast, and I'm not hungry until lunchtime. I do get hungry, it's 12:30 or something like that. I'll get a little bit, so I'll come in to get more shumak, a little hungry. But like this, you're not hungry. What happens if I tell you there's no lunch today? When do you get hungry? Right now. That was the problem. If they would have gotten hungry at 1 o'clock, they never would have gotten hungry. Of course, you waited until you got to get hungry, but you got hungry before you were hungry. That's where you were like a Hagen. But on the other hand, I was hungry when I asked for it. So it's not considered like a Hagen. But that's why the nest didn't happen to him, just like some lustful bolts on this thing, because you asked. You couldn't do it without asking. That's your problem. Okay. He goes into the Musa to Klal Yisrael about the Egel first, Balei Yisrael, Lekachavukas Havonim, that you guys went and did the Egel. I came down from the Egel. I was in Spaulo for you, I was in Spaulo for Aaron. And after that, and then you kept still doing Averis, right? The Tavera, Masa, the Kibbutz HaTaiva, Aktzikma Yisrael Hashem. And then finally, Mishloach Hashem Eschem Kodesh Ba'neya, and when he sent you from Kodesh Ba'neya, right, that's a Meraglim, did that terrible thing, and I prayed to God for 40 days and 40 nights, right? Asher Snapolti, and Zok Rashi is going back to the Luchis, right? But if you look at the wording of the tefillah that he says, I said over there, it's the tefillah of the Meraglim. There are two tefillahs. One he said for the Egel, one he said for the Meraglim. The question is, why can't they be the same thing? But because if you can use the same tefillah all the time, you never can do anything by yourself. So every time you got to give me something different than the first time. So the first time, Shem Yamim Tzayim, B'rohoi Tzion. The second one, B'lo Yuchal, you can't take him there. Which one did he say over here? The Indian of the Meraglim. So what's it got to do with 40 days and 40 nights? I mean, that's probably is Rash Kashi's Rash Kashi. And I think, so hey, that's why he went back to the Ego. So I said, no, you know where the 48 and 40 nights is? As soon as he sent away the Meraglim, he knew it was a mistake. How long was Meraglim gone? 40 days. For those 40 days, he was mispelled day and night that it shouldn't be, whatever it is. Obviously, it didn't help, but that was mispelled. Then he says, the Ben Sholom told me to make a new luchas and Yeshenu, and you should go up to the house and you should make an oven of wood, an oven, but a wooden one, right? And I'll write on the luchas and on the thing there. No, this is very necessary, this oven, without any case of tailors. Because until they came back with the Luchas Shniyas, there was no tzivu to make a mishkan. So if there was no tzivu to make a mishkan, there's no tzivu to make an oven. So therefore, he had to have an oven to put the Luchas into, right? So therefore, they told him to make a Luchas late. So Rashi Bachidish in this. He says that this is the one that went out with you to war. I can't see it here, not my glasses, but it's in the Rashi and then. This is the one that went out to war with them. Now, let me ask you, let's assume that and in their attack, they took the wrong oven, by Eli. The only time, how do you get the oven to go to war with you? Somebody got to go into the Kodesh Kedoshim to get it. You're not allowed to go into the Kodesh Kedoshim, even the Kohen Gadol. So obviously that can't be the read. You can't go into a car to get your oven because of this thing. So what oven did go out to the war? This wooden oven that we're only for. So now we have to analyze and gotta look in the Gemaras again and see if it works. It's oven luchis v'shivrei luchis menochem ba'oven, right? And that's the reason you're to give cover to a Talmud Chacham that forgot his Torah because he bought shivrei luchis. Okay, I have to give him covered. But if we speak munach b'oven, so you would think it's the same oven, right? That's what it seems to explain. But if it's the same oven, how do you get it to go out to war? You got to go again into the Kodesh Kedoshim, take out all the broken pieces, put it in this wooden box, and go take it in the war. That's a little bit strange to do that. You might go take the regular oven, not supposed to move, or it was never together in the same oven. You have to work that out with the wording, but you have to think about it. And it starts off with Hamishi Bati Yisrael Hashem Lekech Yisrael Mimor Ki'im Liyira. So Rashi from here the on brachas that says that everything is min Hashemayim chutz mir Hashemayim, and you're out. What do you call it? Okay. So from Rashi's Mashman, it says Mashman from, I guess, the Shenim from that area, that basically you don't do anything. Whatever is going to happen to you is going to happen to you. And the only choice you have is how it's going to be done. It'll be done by Aveira or by Heta, or by Oines, or by Heta Gomer. That's what's your choices. About that it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So, well, for instance, I'll give you a really chomodik izach. The Gzeire, or the bench knows that Reuven is going to kill Shimon. Now he can kill him by taking a gun and shooting him in the face or in his heart. And he's dead. That is a murderer, right? But he doesn't want to be a murderer, right? So, but it's still the same Gzeire is there, right? Or that's what the Reish knows is going to happen, or because of that, whatever it is. I drop the gun, and it goes off, and it happens to hit him. It shoots itself and hits the guy. There, I'm honest, I didn't shoot the bullet. The gun that fell in a certain way that was able to shoot him is all not that was the Yadi. So, Mamela, I'm not. And you say I was more careless than that, so then maybe I'm a shoygig. It was less careless. I'm an honest. Let's say maybe I have nothing to do with it. I just left my gun on the thing and it exploded one night because of the heat or some other thing, and it hit the guy. It doesn't make a difference. The Yikil Zach is the Maise that he's going to die through my gun, through me. That's Gzeira ben Hashemayim. That's going to happen. The question is, how is it going to happen? It's going to happen with my rots and not with my rots. Now, the Rambam doesn't seem to learn this way. Shemaim Prakim, you can go into the 8th Perek there. And he seems to hold that that I have free ways of movement, and that's all up to me. Now, I'll tell you why the Rambam seems to do this. But that's what the Rambam seems to hold. That you can't say I was forced to walk, I was forced to this. That's all up to you, even though there's no mitzvah naveir involved there. So the soul menashim. And who adin? He says that the world works, right? Many what's the lashon dochten Eilom kinin hagayid no something like that. Lashon and pasuk. So that's what it is. The world goes the way it is. Let me ask you, what do we do with the davening? So it's not like him. And what do? He says also you can move your hands. And what does it say that if I not get this is a Gemara also, that a person doesn't lift his hand unless they raise him in a Shemaim that he can lift it up. So again, it's not what he says. So I think if you see in the way he spoke to Shmuel Kokim, there seemed to have been a cat. By the Goyim, definitely there's such a group. They are where the Puritans came from, whatever their religion is called, their sect called. They believe that everything is preordained. Tzaddik Karash is also part of the thing. It was ordained to be a tzaddik. And if you ever heard the Lashon, therefore for the grace of God I go I, that means I have grace. Not because I made myself a tzaddik, but the Rebbeinu made it that I'm not going to be chayte, so therefore I really couldn't be there, because he could have been goes on me, but because he was goes on the other guy. So therefore the grace of God go I. So the word grace means not as a pshat, I got it. It means that the thing, and it seemed to have been a cat like that in his time. And he keeps writing in his couple of the Prokim that this is a false shita, this is a false, what he called. So according to him, he had to give him more of an idea of freedom. That you can't say you were coerced to do that, I made me like this. So if I'd learned like Rashi, the pshat is that really I can't do anything except different than the Gzera, so that it's not my fault, right? Except that he doesn't understand that the Bechira came in how you did it, or what was done. That was your Bechira. So therefore you did it. That's what I'm saying, but that's a person that knows. Rashi doesn't have that problem. So I would say it's daimon, they're having a glass of water half full. So one guy is going to say it's half full, right? That's the optimist, they call it. The other guy is going to say it's half empty, right? That's the pessimist. But in reality, they're both saying the same thing. They're not saying any difference. This one says this, it's half full and half empty, the same thing, right? Just the question how you're looking at it. So you can look at it this way. I have free movement until the Rebbeinu doesn't want me to move. So what does he do? He gives me a heart attack and I drop dead. So I can't move. He gives me a stroke. I can't move my arm. The Rebbeinu can make it that I can't move. There's no denying that part. So therefore, what do you call by the fact that he doesn't do that? Is it pshat that I have freedom to do unless he wants to stop me? Or as long as he lets me do it, that's called he's letting me do it. So depending how you want to teach it, basically there's no argument. Otherwise you have an argument on the mullahs and stuff, and that doesn't exist. So this whole thing, and there are a lot of people that want to be guys in the Rambam to personal success and other things, which is a part that I just remembered we didn't finish up by the month. So I've got to go back there a second. Now they give a lot of credit to themselves instead of being, what do you call it, to realize the Torah Hashemayim. Okay, before it says, we said that the man was a savior, right? You go a few psukim weiter, right after Sheni, it says, Hamachil chamon Bamidbar, I fed you man in the Bamidbar, shelo yodna b'secha, in order to punish you, that the mon is the test, and the mon is the thing that's making you, giving you the troubles. What do you do? You just talked to me, I was hungry and everything else, and the mon came to save me. Right, so what are you talking about? Then he says, you'll say your heart. So remember, the Rebbeinu gave you keach lasses choya. So a lot of people, unfortunately, learn pshat, that pshat is God made me smart, but now the reason how I use my smartness, that's up to me. So I'm a billionaire now, that's a lie that I'm smart, that I used it the right way, I did it. So I'll touch you up before we go into the actual, what it says, of Targya Targum. The pasuk is Zachartas Hashem Lekecha Kehu Anoishel for Keach Lasis Choya. So Targum. The Sitka Yes Hashem Lekoch. Remember God. Arehu Yohim Loch Eitze Lemikne Nichtzen. I gave you the Eitze to buy the property. You thought you were smart. You bought the property. Now it went up in value so much. It was like Sachochem. That's the reason that I gave you the Eitze how to buy that property. If I didn't give you the Eitze, you wouldn't have bought it. So why didn't anybody else buy it? Because you didn't give me the Eitze. That's all. So he gave you the Eitze because that you became the billionaire and whatever it is there. So I just want to add, sometimes some other person does something and he says, I don't know how I was so stupid, right? You know why you were so stupid? Because the Rebbeinu wanted you to lose your money. So he made you make a mistake. Just like he gave you the Eitze to buy the Nirsen, he told you the Eitze to sell the Nirsen. Obviously, for a price that tomorrow went up. That was the thing. So that's the difference. The person knows and believes in Hashem. Rebbeinu is the one that gave him the Eitze, and he's the one that takes it away from him. So he should know it's not his fault, and it's not his benefit. And neither one. He didn't do anything good and didn't do anything bad. He just has no control. It's the Benishim that does something. So now, how is this a punishment to money? Very simple. A guy asks the world, what do I got to do? I got to go to college, and I have to go this, and I have to do that, and I have to train myself in order to be the big businessman, the big thing. You have to go through guns out of it. Now, certain things you have to, because I don't want to be, what do you call a carpenter until someone tells me you cut it like this. But the mice, or if you go a doctor, you don't cut this. You have to tell you what to cut and how to cut. But basically, anything like you're just dealing in business and stuff like that, it's only up to the Danish one. So it's not up to you at all. So what are you going to all these studies for? I'm going to study economics. I'm going to study this. You buy cheap and you sell for more money. That's how you make money. How else do you make money? If I buy it expensive and sell it for less, I'm not going to make money. I'm going to lose money. That doesn't take much brains to understand that, right? So what is the benching? So why am I doing this? Oh, because that's how you make parnasa. I just told you I gave you parnasa without doing anything. You're in the midbar, you had all the things you needed, and you didn't have to work, you didn't have to go to school, you didn't have to do anything. So isn't that the biggest punishment to yourself? So why am I wasting my time doing all these things? Maybe I should just sit and learn. Maybe you should. That's the thing. That's the whole point. That you should. Okay. There's also another point I forgot before. When he's talking about the Avodah Zarah before he even got to Kol HaMitzvah, he talks here that you got to destroy Avodah Zarah and stuff. Why? Because it shouldn't come to be a hakolah for you, a meikish for you, meikish shulach. Is it? I don't see the whole pasuk here. Okay, this word is good. You should burn their getchkis in fire. Don't try to save the money and the gold and silver that's there. Maybe you'll get a nichshel in it, and you'll have a problem. He says this Hashem Kechu. So what's the lashon nivokish boy? Why wouldn't I shouldn't take the money even and stuff like that. So in other words, I take a getchke, and about the getchkes you're not allowed to have. And it's made out of gold. And in the gold, they have diamonds. And these are diamonds when you look at the size of them and stuff like that. It's $1 billion, this little getchke over here, right? You're not allowed to getchke. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to smash it and I'm going to use it, right? There's a lot of money here. We use it for mitzvahs. We build up all the yeshivas, and no problem. That we were speaking when we spoke about chukim. We said there's a third type of chet, which we discussed, chayk, which is in re'eh, which is this same chayk, which is destroying the getchkis. They say you gave chukim mishpatim. Mishpatim is maybe an ichshul and bow to it, use it. So therefore, you have to make sure it's broken. But after it's broken, right? So why can't I use it then? Because the other bench was telling you a chayk, you must destroy, you must get rid of it. A guy, if he breaks it, it's mutter. But if you break it, it's also. So that makes a difference. So what do I learn from the chayk? You learn to trust in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Banishim is telling you here you have $1 billion, and I'm telling you it's for the hour. It's worthless. Mamish has no value at all. But, right? You're right. But I'm the Rebbeinu Shalom, and I can give you the but. In other words, if that's what you need the money, I'll make sure there'll be the yeshiva stay open. My business. A little tougher on the guys running around the yeshiva. That may be, but that's the Rebbeinu Shalom's cheshbon. Why it's tougher on you and easier on him. But Lamai said that's the thing. That's to teach you Tochen HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That Shabbos is for that. You can't Shemitah is for that, for sure. In other words, but don't worry about it. And that's the thing that we don't work until we actually do it. You know, the Nisim, all the things you're going to hear. Shemitah is coming up, and you're going to hear lots of stories. I'll tell you, this happened to this guy, the guy who didn't keep Shemitah, his whole field was destroyed, and this guy, nothing. You're going to hear stories like that. And the Pshat is the Remestaki. But you won't know it until you keep Shemitah. In other words, all of these things are when you do it, then you feel it, then you see it. Until you do that, it's just, I can't believe it. Yeah. Then it said, it says, Al Taima B'Vodcha, don't say that Ba'adev Hashem Alekech Eisem Ofanech, when Benjamin chasing away all the goyim, they'll say, but Tzidkosi Hevani Epelash, so it took me, because I'm a tzaddik, to inherit the land. And because they're bad, he Benjamin getting rid of them. So he's telling you, so it's not because you're a good guy, why? But because they did the Averos, that's why I'm getting rid of it. And you're going to inherit it because of the Ava Hashem to the others. But in both cases, it's saying that it's Berishas HaGoyim. So all he should have talked about was Leibishit Koscha. And nothing to do with your titkis. What does it got to do with the Rishis HaGoyim? So mashma, and really have it in Lech Lecha also, that unless there's the Rishis HaGoyim, the Benshim does not kick him out. Even though there's an inyan of us getting it. And that's why it says we have to go to Mitzrayim for the 400 years, because until the Derech Revi, the Chet HaMeiri will not be completed, and therefore you have to go in Mitzrayim and wait your time until you're able to go into Eretz Yisrael. So mashma that has to happen. The Benshim does not kick out anybody unless they're a shoyim. Now the question is, who's he give it to? Right? Well, the time that said, therefore, maybe give it to me because I'm a tzaddik. So that the Benshim is telling you it's not because you were a tzaddik, but you should know that until they were a shoyim, they don't get tossed out. Even though you're a tzaddik and even though you have sosobis and everything else, until the rishis are going, they don't get tossed out. So there's also I don't know what I did. Good, it's good. Pasik Pachtacha Malacha. Now is put your fear and the two types of shonis of Pachad. One is Pachad, one is Meira, and is Yira. And that's the same word, really. Pachad and Meira, and then is Yira. So Meira and Yira is really the same thing. what are the two expressions, fear? And in any synonym, in any language, but you have two words that mean the same thing, there's no such thing. If there's two, no two words mean the same thing. But it does both mean fear. Yeah. But fear also is not the same word as panic. Right? I know dread. So what does each word mean different? It means all fear. No, it's different. Pachad is a much stronger fear than what he called than moira, than yir is. And therefore, in what do you call it, say, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it says, Yeroscho, whatever it is there. So one person is called Maise, that's a special thing, my special action I made you, and things I created. That's a lesser degree. So the one that's a lesser degree, we'll use the word Talmid Chacham Mamratzim. It's not necessarily true, it has to do with Yoschet, but it's the same idea. A person that understands Yoschet, understand there. So for him, you gave me a pachad that I just can't move anymore. And that's what's that going to cause? It's going to cause that I'm going to serve you. Right? What about a sense that's just the creation? So they're only going to accept it as yira. It's not going to be a big fear for them. And therefore, all they'll do, they'll be mishtachet to you. That's a thing. That's the second lower level. In Oz Yoshia, you have the Lashon, same thing. So what's it mean by there? There's near nations and far nations. The near nations don't need that much fear to make them afraid. I mean, I don't want to use this as a muscle there, but really, Nazi by the people in the Nazi concentration camps, right? The one Nazi had to hold a gun, and 5,000 people are scared, right? Why? Because they see that gun. We in America didn't see that gun. So by us, we hear about their tanks and their planes and the things, and we're still not that afraid because it's not here. So in order to get some type of fear from far away, it's got to be a bigger fear, even though in the end it's a smaller reaction to it. While with near places, even a smaller fear makes a bigger reaction. So that's what the difference in the types of the words. Yeah, they have about Eretz Yisrael. So it says, Yoretz Hashato Bo Shomer L'Rish Loi Keretz Mitzrayim. Now, with Eretz Mitzrayim, it's Gigan Hashem, it says. Back again in Lech Lecha, in the Midame Eretz Mitzrayim, or where Sodom was, in the Nisha, that was Gigan Hashem Keretz Mitzrayim. That's the Lashon over there. So that's a garden. A garden is made by irrigation. It doesn't necessarily have to come from rain. Rain may be not enough. You have to irrigate it, and so on. That's a garden. But you're not going to have a garden. You're going to have from the heavens to the earth. In other words, you're going to have rivers. They're also the Nahar, but they're both. But meaning you'll have rain, and the rain will take it. The thing, that's how you're going to live. And what is the mile for Sholom? I guess you got more products, The chesaron is l'tal shemayim k'shlemoyim. Eretz Hashem lekecha dorish Yisrael tomid and Mereish Shona Rach Shona. The Ben is always checking up on Eretz Yisrael. So therefore, if he sees like you're not doing so good, he's going to give you an einish, right? You do better, he's going to give you a bracha. So he's always checking up on you. It's not like Baruch Hashem, we passed the inspection, now we have 6 months to wait for the next inspection. It's not that. The bench is there constantly to know. So it's a pretty dangerous thing to think, right? In Emerson, our bracha is that way. V'yiten l'cha, zorak rashi v'yiten, v'choza v'yiten. In Emerson, whose bracha is that bracha? That bracha is Esav's bracha, not Yaakov's bracha. Yaakov took it from Esav, but that was bracha to Esav. So normally for him, it was a thing there. You do good, you'll have the Tal Shemayim. You don't do good, I won't give it to you. And then in the end, because he didn't get that bracha, he gets money as much as he wants, whenever he wants it, and a thing like that. But we got to bracha v'yitem b'chaz v'yitem, so we lost out on the deal, right? No, because Parshas bracha is v'yitem b'chaz v'yitem. The Benjamin gave it to us more than one shot. We forget that we do averos. Right, because we're in the same comfortable situation we were in yesterday. So what's going to make me change? Or if it's an Indian of a yitem, because of a yitem, and I see it's not coming, so I know there's something wrong. What's wrong is I got to be patient. I'll check into myself and see that I'm not doing the right thing. I'll do tshuva right away. So that's the point that it has. So it's a favor for us. It makes us be keeping able to, that we don't have to sink so low that we can't get out of there anymore. A little bit, and you know what, I can just pick myself up. So Shishiva uses that lashon also for mara. You know, he's saying mara is out to shiashman aparonius and so on. But what's the purpose of mara? Mara is the real mara is chazeres. Right? Chazeres doesn't even, if we touch up chazeres in Roman lettuce, all the health bugs put it in their regular salad. I mean, there's nothing bitter about it, right? We all eat every day. So why are you calling it mora for? But the idea is that the green is Swedish and the white, it's hard and it's bitter a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. The Rebbeinu Shalom tells like this: if you're going to be a guy that really is aware of what's happening to him, so then it doesn't take much to make you do tshuva. In other words, as soon as you see something goes wrong with a part of your body, just think, what could I have done wrong with that part of the body? And they have to think about it. So if you catch it and you do tshuva, Baruch Hashem, so you did tshuva. If on the other hand, you don't catch it or you don't even look, so Benjamin gives you a bigger shove, right? And that time already, now I break my foot. And the thing though, and there I maybe learn my lesson, or against don't learn my lesson. I don't learn my lesson, it gets chopped off. And the thing there, then if you don't learn the lesson, I learn my lesson, or I don't learn my lesson. If I don't learn my lesson, I die. I mean, this is the basics of the Rebbeinu is giving you chances not to die. That's what he wants. He's going, before you go down too deep, I'm giving you a warning to get out of it. And that's what the basically intends for husband is. Yeah, imagine just maybe this will be in the list, and the one I said already. That's what it's in Krishna. In over here, like in Shema, it's not that way. Okay, because they were talking it doesn't say L'Bneicha. What's it mean by that? So the only one I saw that actually touches it up, I think, right, is Art School. You should teach your children how to talk and learning. What do you mean how to talk and learning? Learning. Yeah, well, as soon as you walk out of the Bismedish, what do you talk about? Oh, I don't know, whatever's around. Talk about news, this and that. But now you're battling then, right? So how do I avoid battling? Teach your children how to speak and learning. Everything you're going to speak about is going to relate to learning. Yeah, that's the way I'm going to describe when I was a kid. I used to speak about sports. You guys play baseball, right? I saw them actually. You play baseball. Okay. That time there was a guy, and it was before my time, a guy called Hank Greenberg, a Yid. Of course, the Jews, Moppi Shatzim is a better player than Babe Ruth. You guys heard about that guy, right? Okay. The pitchers would not pitch to him the last 2 weeks of the season, so he shouldn't break Babe Ruth's record. He had 58, and Ruth had 60, and he had 2 weeks to go, and they're not pitching him. They walked him every time. Okay, so very unfair, right? He was Jew. He did not work on Yom Kippur. He was the World Series. He did not work on Yom Kippur. Koufax did the same thing. That's another Jewish guy, a pitcher. Later died. He wasn't my time. Okay, so the Shaila was, it's so, he's not worried about going to work. And Yom Kippur just doing what? What malacha was he doing? What are you talking about? Malacha he's doing? He's going to knock the ball out of the park. Right? Now you can go into Rosh Hashanah. So he went out from Meisim Shesayot and Shesarabim. Very good. Okay. Right. It's a good point. So that's his problem. He's a home run hitter, so he may do that. Yeah, but the pitcher doesn't want him to do it. So the pitcher doesn't want him to do it. Is that called a malachas machshavas or not? He wants to do it, but he can't do it every time. He can only do it, I think, if a good pitcher, a good batter is 1 in 7 times. So you can only do it 1 in 7 times. So that's not a malachas machshavas then. And then maybe we have a better head. Maybe Shnaim Shosu. If the pitcher doesn't throw the ball as a fastball, he can't hit the ball out of the park. You need the velocity coming this way for him to have the velocity going that way. Right? He gave a slow ball, it wouldn't happen. Okay. That's what you talk. That's called playing talking in baseball, not talking Torah. But everything you talk about relates to the Torah. And that's what you have to learn how to talk. Everything is to hear, what can I learn from this? And I don't have to do it even consciously. After a while, it becomes something. I've done some of the best Sholom that I was able to. I used to pick up from the advertisements, listening to the news, and when I was driving, because you had to have something that turns the cup. And you can't concentrate yourself too, but does. But the guys, they're able to listen to tapes, gesund to hate. I couldn't do it. But some of the ideas that you pick up, and here, you use it for whatever you want to use it for. Usually for schmooze, and it came out very good. Because a lot of Mishlam, you see what the world wants, what the world doesn't want, this thing. And whether it's for the Torah, connected the Torah, and that's how you do with all the things, everything in the newspaper. You read a newspaper, that's how you're supposed to be done everything. Is it right or is it wrong? What's going on in America? What's going on in this? Right or wrong? And that's how you're supposed to apply it. In that case, you're always talking learning. It's impossible that you find nothing that doesn't relate to Torah. Anything about it. So mainly, that's what you receive to do. Now, it's going to be very negeya. This thing, I didn't want to give a head to it, what I'm telling you. I think that two former boys were drafted by the what do you call it, baseball, not the NBA, what do they call themselves? The major leagues, okay, by the major leagues. Okay, one intends to go to work on Shabbos, but he won't drive to shul. He'll stay near the park, and but he'll play on Shabbos. The other guy will not play on Shabbos. Okay. Now people are going to watch this guy, and the guy's a pitcher also. So when he's going to touch the ball, the guy knocks it out. Now you're going to have to say Shneim Shosu on that one, and the thing about him because he definitely doesn't want the guy to hit the ball out of the park. So maybe you'll say, well, what did he do wrong? Except the fact that he worked on Shabbos, and he worked on Shabbos in his Swanan, and he said, just because I work, I get a Shabbos. Balkair also works on Shabbos, right? So I think that they're doing good money by lawyer, not doing that. Okay, these may be the head Tevim guys. I have no idea. Obviously, some Rav was mat to him, or rabbi was mat to him to go play on Shabbos.
Why did the Rav is doing God of Israel? We were about Shabbos, playing on Shabbos.
Very good. But what's the issue? Just because he played on Shabbos, what's wrong with that?
Still Shabbos.
Why?
Maybe Shabbos is not around.
That's your opinion. The other guy holds not like that. I agree with you. But that the other guy doesn't agree. So what are you going to say? Because I'll tell you, I figure out he's making a living. He's going to work on it, which is Hank Greenberg's tiny. He wouldn't go on Yom Kippur or Koufax because I don't work on Shabbos or Yom Kippur. And these guys working on this. Now you have the kasha about Kairad actually. So good, he does that. What do you call it? Besides, we need him. That's the real reason, right? Because without Kairad already, that doesn't practice on Shabbos. So he only prepares on Shabbos. What do you do with him? What? Okay. Well, very good. I know, no problem. Make more. So here we're talking baseball. We're figuring out his suit for them, right? So that's exactly what we are talking about. You can talk baseball and talk Torah. Now, it's not a point of I have to talk. That's the make it a part of your life. Talk. You're always talking in Torah. You never stop talking in Torah. Now, the saying you bring me a line or something, you can condemn it right away to Torah and it's gone. No problem. And the thing opens, always talking in Torah. That's the whole point that the Banshee wants from us. That our whole basic in life will be talking in Torah. We never will do it with Yisroel. Because if you're talking in Torah, you know what's right and what's wrong. And that's the way you always have it up in front of you. And you're not making a mistake. The people will patrei, make right wrong and wrong right. That's going to be what he called. And just like this particular case that we're talking about, that the guy's going to work in Shabbos, the biggest Zoyim, the tackles at Shaya. And the thing there that the guy should do such a thing. Of the Lamaisa, he's going to do it, and he's going to be self-owned as a familiar. And as you're going that way, and I don't know when Jason Zachum, what the bench should take with him, and it's not my business. Of the Lamaisa, there are going to be definitely kids who are going to go saying, well, he can play, I can play. Because I know another kid that asked the Shiur, that he wants to play in the NBA. And then they also the same thing, it's the basketball thing. He got picked for the NBA, and he was there, and he told him he can't do Shabbos, he can't do it in Shabbos. If anything, it's when the Shabbos clothes, and you're not wearing Shabbos clothes on the field there, because they wouldn't let you on the court. And besides that, it's a bizoyin, and you want to let you the whole concept of the thing over there. However, I said once he'll hear this, I'm sure he'll have he's like I was cheated out of it, or whatever it is, or if he didn't does it, the next time I'll take that. And that's what you do, the things that people are rhetoric about. I'll stay in the hotel, I'll stay in the wherever the place is. And so I'm not traveling on Shabbos, I'm not doing this on Shabbos, but the hikah that you're playing on Shabbos. Now you play ball on Shabbos, like a little kid, you play ball on Shabbos, right? In your Shabbos suit. A kid has to know it's Shabbos also, even though you're playing in the dirt. He has to know it's Shabbos. You play in the dirt in your Shabbos clothes. You want to play ball in your Shabbos clothes. You want to dirty yourself in your Shabbos clothes. You rip your pants in your Shabbos clothes. anything open. I'd like to think how I can say it doesn't make a difference. By my bar mitzvah, I got my mitzvah in the summer, so country. So my aunt came in from Chicago, and she said, I had a lot on my pants. So if it's a bar mitzvah, you really have to have a lot. You can't hold on to have a suit that it's going to be one piece. The thing that you always have to have a patch on it because you always do everything in shul with your Shabbos suit. So obviously it's going to get rid of it. I was a kid, right? And you're running, jumping, pulling, right? All of these things that you in your Shabbos suit. That's why we don't put them on Shabbos clothes, right? Take them off the Shabbos clothes. So the Shaila to me came out only if we have special Shabbos play clothes. Would that be also good? No, because Shabbos play clothes is fochta. He knows it's Shabbos day. But you put on the kid the dirty clothes he wears every week, every day to play on Shabbos, then what's the kid know different? Shabbos is different than the other day. There's always that. And we start wondering why our kids don't understand Shabbos. What do you mean don't understand Shabbos? You never treated on Shabbos. They don't know what Shabbos. So if you teach them that the Shabbos you want to do, you play because a child can play ball. That doesn't we all agree with that. A child to him it's fun. He runs also, and it's fun. So for him, he's allowed to do it. We can't do it, but he's allowed to do it. So, but the mice, but he should know it's Shabbos. That doesn't not listen. Shabbos. I think that also stopped the JEC from opening up. That's really JEC or no? What JEC? No, the ones that make a places to play ball and stuff. That's not what. Okay, with something like that anyway. Okay.
JCC.
So one of them that's also in Cincinnati. There was a big problem about that. Okay, when they asked me this is Staten Island, I told them that you can't have it open because you guys to play in the Shabbos clothes. You can't change the thing to you. And then for that they didn't want to open it. But if I would have said you can play on Shabbos, what are we playing? We don't have the thing there. But you make them put on shorts, you make them put on this, so they don't look Shabbos. They don't know what Shabbos is. So I don't know if they still closed or not closed, that I don't know. But that time, at least, Mr. Rabbi brought them to me, so they're not open. So there's the concept of wearing Shabbos clothes. Anyway, have a good Shabbos, everybody.
Shabbos, Rabbi.
Shabbos, good Shabbos.
Shabbos. Shabbos, Rabbi, good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
I think